What's up, guys? This is Kyle. I wanted to come out here and share a video with you all tonight. Thank you guys so much, first and foremost, for liking the page, sharing the page. Mike and I, we not only Facebook, but we also went out and created a Twitter page and an Instagram page, and continued follows are increasing, and we're getting some messages from people now, which is awesome. We're getting out there and trying to accomplish what we, the idea and our goal that we have set out to reach out to as many people as we can. And we owe a ton of that to you guys for just liking and sharing all of the, the posts and things like that we've been putting out. Quick update on the podcast. Mike and I have brought on an executive producer, which we are very, very happy to announce. And he is helping us a lot with the technical aspect of getting this podcast up and running. He's helping me with space to record, so I can connect with Mike, who's down in South Carolina, myself being in Scranton. And he's helping us a lot in getting the social medias up and running, and different ways that we could reach out to people via social media and internet. Things that Mike and I are not very too well equipped on. So, he's doing a great job, and we thank him for coming out as well. I wanted to share with you guys tonight a quote that I recently read, and it was a very, very impactful quote when I saw it, very powerful, and it kind of coincides with a share post that I put out earlier this week. But the quote's from Dale Carnegie, and Dale Carnegie was an author. He was a motivational speaker. He developed courses on salesmanship and public speaking, self-improvement. Some of his work is how to stop worrying and stop living, which is something that everyone, I believe, wishes they could do. And then The Art of Public Speaking. And they're just, some of the books that I picked up that he wrote, many other ones that he wrote also. But so the quote is, "You can conquer almost any fear if you only make up your mind to do so. For remember, fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind." That quote was so powerful to me. I spent a better part of my journey now really researching fear, and what is fear, why is it there, what is its purpose. And I put out a quote earlier this week that is something I truly believe, that human beings run on two things: fear and love. And fear is everything negative, love is everything positive. And I'll get more into that as the podcast goes. I don't want to drag this video out too long, but I've learned a lot of really, really good stuff from some really, really wise authors and different speakers, and just stuff that's changed my life. But back to that quote, fear to me, from what I've come to believe, is something that is derived from what's called the ego. And the ego lives within our mind, okay? I don't know if the thoughts and the ego are one and the same. I don't know if they go hand in hand with each other. I don't really know how that works. But I could tell you that in my experience, fear has held me back from a lot of things in my life. I ran on fear for 31 years. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of acceptance, fear of not being accepted, fear of life, fear of death. Every decision I made or did not make in my life was fear-driven. I truly believe that fear comes from that ego, and the ego needs fear to thrive and to live. See, the ego does not want you to know who your true inner self is, your highest form of consciousness, okay? Your highest form of consciousness and your inner self is all good, all love. It's funny when you think about it, when somebody says, "I just felt like it was the right thing to do," or "I just knew it was not the right thing to do," that's not your ego talking. That's your inner form of self. That's your inner higher consciousness. The ego needs that fear and needs you to believe that fear in order to stay alive. Human beings have spent a long portion of their life completely identifying as that fear, as their ego, as their thoughts. For a long time, I was a very, very anxious person. I truly believed I was anxiety. I identified with anxiety. What I've come to find in my journey now is that my thoughts would create a fake scenario in my brain. It would infect my feelings and my emotions. So crazy thought, anxious, restless energy, and then it would come out in the form of a panic attack physically. So I physically would become my thoughts. It's true. You really become your thoughts. Now, I have a different way of approaching it. When a thought comes into my brain and it's crazy and it's ridiculous and it's fake, instead of it getting to my emotions, I stop it. I observe it. I say, what is this thought? Where did it come from? Does it have any validity or substance? Almost immediately, after rationalizing with this thought, I could see it doesn't. It is not true. It's fake. It's something my mind, not my mind, it's something my ego created. And it's not going to affect my emotion. So I could immediately stop the anxious feeling. And then when I stop the anxious feeling or emotion, I stop it and I prevent it from becoming a physical reaction. That's how you control your ego. The way you'll never, I don't truly believe you'll never diffuse or eliminate your ego, but the way you minimize the ego is you're aware of what it's doing. You're aware of its power, of its capability, of what it can do. When you get that sense of awareness and that higher level of consciousness from the self within, now you're unlocking a potential and you're unlocking a power within to hold back those fears and to not let those fears run you and not to identify as those fears. So again, I want to keep this relatively short. I'm a bit of a talker, so I apologize. I want to save a lot of content for the podcast when we get up and running. But again, that quote really stuck with me. It's something I thought was very, very powerful. And, hopefully once we get this podcast up and running, these are discussions and topics that Mike and I will talk about. We'll share our experience, strength, and our hope on these topics. And, hopefully we'll get out there and help as many people as we can. So thank you guys again. Sorry for the long-winded video, but we look forward to getting this podcast up and running. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.